Larry Lessig is still considering running for president. He's got a couple of days left to raise $1 million, but he's held his first public campaign event, and we have the exclusive here at TRT. We're going to show it to you. He went to Ferguson. He met with Missouri State Senator Maria Chappelle-Nadal, and you know what he did? He went to go listen. Now, I know. Whenever a politician says they're on a listening tour, like Hillary Clinton, you're like, oh, boy. But you know what he did? He spoke, and then he stood up aside and actually listened. Yeah. A whole bunch of other people spoke while he was in the back listening. And then he came back on the podium. So I want to show you a piece of it here. Now, Larry Lessig, if you're not familiar, is running on basically to be a referendum president, saying if you want to get money out of politics, that's the only thing he's going to do, okay? And as soon as he does that, he's going to step down and let his vice president become president, because he says if you don't fix that issue first, you won't be able to fix any of the other issues. Now, that's near and dear to my heart. I agree with that as a general philosophy. So happy to hear him out. Here's his first campaign event.
He said I was dumbing down the election. I was dumbing it down because what they want to have is an argument about how we get more Democrats in Washington, as if partisan fights will solve anything. But I'm not dumbing this debate down. I'm elevating it up. I'm elevating it up to the ideals that all of us have in our heart, an ideal we were taught as children, an ideal which we say we believe in, that there are no second-class citizens. But in America, there are second-class citizens. All but the tiniest fraction of the 1% are second-class citizens. And we are going to fight to make this election about getting our democracy back.
Can you imagine Republicans with that crowd behind them?
Yeah. He'd be constantly like, good.
Trump would have had them all removed.
Yeah, Trump would have been like,
Right? Whatever move he made to security there with Jorge Ramos. Now, I love that he went to Ferguson first.
Yes.
Again, if the Republicans had gone to Ferguson first, it would have been to yell at him, right? And so he wants to address police violence, voter suppression, and racial profiling of African Americans. He thinks those are enormously important issues. Again, you can't solve any of those, unfortunately, until you get the money out of politics. Because as much as people care about those issues, Americans, even if you took the polling and you realize, hey, actually Americans do care about that, doesn't matter. The donors don't care about that, so it won't get addressed. Now, in that shot, you couldn't quite see it. But there was a guy, the other reason I like this was there was a guy behind him with a shirt that I kind of recognized a little bit and enjoyed. In fact, he got up and spoke later. Let's hear from him.
I realized that I'm not free, and you're not free either. I thought so for a while, but it's not that our democracy is crumbling. It's that our democracy is gone. And democracy is what protects the freedoms for all of us. If I am not a member of the 1%, I do not get to choose who the elected people are. They choose who I get to choose from, and that's wrong. And stop telling them to come together in unity. They've been doing that for a year. Listen to why it's happening. Listen to what to do about it. I'm glad Lawrence Lessig is here to do that. We should all do the same. Listen to Ferguson.
Damn straight.
Yeah,
all right, I like that guy.
You should look into TRT next.
He should. All right, look, everybody, if you're go to any political rally, wear your TRT shirt.
Yeah.
Okay. Who knows? Maybe they'll invite you up to speak. Yeah. Right? So Lessig is afoot here, and so if you care about money and politics, you should look into. If you want to donate to him, that's your call. Obviously, we'll have the links for you. If you want to support him in other ways, that's your call. To me, the most important thing is that he gets in the debates. If he's in the race, he gets into the debates. By the way, the standard is getting 1% of the polls. New poll out today. Lessig's already at 1%. He's already tied.
He's beating some Republicans.
Well, he is beating actually 4 Republicans, and he's tied 2 other Democratic candidates already, and he's not quite officially in the race yet. Now, I know it's not like it's like earth-shattering to get to 1%, but that gets him in the debates, and then he can challenge everybody else. That doesn't mean you dislike the other candidates. It means, hey, let's have a real conversation about how are you actually going to get money out of politics and fix Washington.
Yeah, and I think any debate would be better if he was added into it, and it would also be great if the Democrats had a debate ever. Someday they're going to, I hear. And so I love that he went to Ferguson first. You would imagine other candidates might want to get down there eventually. That might be a good idea. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Maybe they should try it. And that he was focusing on the 1%, and he's combining this message of democracy with equality and with the economics. It's all tied together. we're often told, they attempt to distract us and make us think about one thing and not see that the system, that it has branches that go into all these different areas. And so I'm glad that he's tying them together.
So, I say Trump would never have that crowd behind him, but honestly, do you think Hillary Clinton would have had those exact people behind her in a photo op, where the press would have picked it up? I think they might have moved some white folks into that shot. They might have moved some guys with bandanas out of that shot. I'm keeping it real, okay? You think that her handlers wouldn't, but has 60% of the African-American vote right now among the Democrats, okay? Yeah. I don't think she's earned it. I don't think she's there. I don't think she's actually listening.
She might not keep it.
Yeah, well, we'll see if she does keep it. And if you actually listen to people, they might listen to you back.
Yeah.
Right? And we've seen that from Lessig at this point, not so much from Hillary.
One real quick question for you. So just because we haven't seen a referendum presidency before, but so he says he's only running on one issue. I obviously because I care about the other issues, I like when he goes to Ferguson and talks about these issues. But isn't that kind of somewhat contradictory?
That's a fair question, and I don't represent him, so I had no part in him going there. They didn't ask me. I'm not sure I would have used the same slogan. I'm not sure I would have done anything the same, right?
Yeah.
But if I'm guessing at it, I would say that they're saying to people, hey, you know what? If you, like I said earlier, if you fix that issue,
I see what you're saying,
you'll get to fix these issues. But if you don't take money out of politics, all these things you deeply care about ain't never going to get fixed.
That's true. Right? Yeah, and you might have to use different issues to teach people that lesson for different groups.
Right. Yeah. So you want to solve the problem of African Americans being hounded by the cops, being imprisoned by the prison industrial complex? You're not going to do that unless you stop the prisons from donating money to politicians.
Yeah.
You're going to keep getting young African American men thrown into jail because of money in politics.
Yeah, and then the same thing could go for environmentalists, any number of other groups.
That's right.